Hi everybody, it's Paul from Paul Kelly Golf. During my 35-year career in golf, I've spent most of my time as an operations manager of a golf course or as the club professional and or operations manager. So a lot of operational aspect, a lot of communicating back and forth with superintendents on a daily basis at multiple different courses. And these are the things the superintendent wishes that all the golfers knew and all the golfers helped out with so that they can spend their time and resources tending to the most important things, which is the maintenance of the golf course, the greens, the tees, the fairways, the bunkers, and not having to do reconstructive work on a lot of damaged areas that get damaged because people are not quite aware of the nuances of how a golf course should operate and how traffic should flow through. So if you want to be a friend to your superintendent and you want to have the best conditions golf course possible, pay attention, because these are the things that the superintendents tell me on a daily basis when I was working that they wish that they didn't have to deal with. Stay tuned. Number one is the putting green. If you're taking a bucket of balls to the putting green and chipping them all out on the green, don't leave them there. Please pick them up, take them, bring them back to the starter shed or the pro shop if that's what you're doing. Having 5 or 6 people put 75 or 80 balls on the putting green makes a huge giant cluster. Somebody has to pick that up, and it's usually the maintenance crew, because how a golf course works is that the putting green may be the last thing that's tended to, because the priority is getting their crew out and tending to the greens on the golf course. They may come back later in the morning or the day and do the putting green, and then when they're faced with a putting green full of balls, well, someone has to get off their mower, and the time it takes them to pick that up, they could have done something else that's productive. So please, if you're chipping balls or leaving balls on a green, pick them up, take them away so that when the work comes, it's easy to do. Number 2, learn how to take divots on a driving range so that you're working in strips. When you take long, narrow strips on a driving range, you're damaging only about this much area in a long strip. So you can have multiple areas before the tee box in that area is completely destroyed. The other thing is that divots grow from the sides in. So if you're chunking and chunking and chunking and making big circular patterns or taking divots everywhere, all of those have to grow in, and that tee box is out of commission. And the next person who wants to use it, which could even be you, is going to be faced with an area that has no grass. So how strips work: you put your ball on the back edge of the divot. The ball is sitting on grass. It's a nice fluffy lie. Your club goes through the ball and into the divot, and it takes about an inch or an inch and a half more of divot rather than taking a brand new divot each time. So if we look at 3 different examples of 30 balls, one has 30 divots. This is the way that so many people do it. Now, you complain about the tee boxes and why you're on mats, but it's because the superintendent has nowhere else to put you because the tee boxes are destroyed after the first weekend. If you operate in a strip, you're only taking a little tiny bit, and multiple strips can fit in that, and they can start refreshing themselves. The worst one is the big giant one where it's one big divot, and because the grass has to grow in from the side, it will never get there in time. It's always going to be a long duration. So work your divots in strips. You're hitting off grass, but your club is going into the previous divot, which is causing less damage. You do that, you're going to have better tee boxes. That's time and effort and resources and money that the superintendent doesn't have to tend to. They can be out on the course fixing something more important for you. Number 3 is learning how to fix a ball mark properly. Now, there's an awful lot of really diligent people out there who fix ball marks, and they're meticulous about it, but they don't do it the right way, and they're not realizing that they may be causing more damage than normal. So we assume that this is the ball mark. You put your tee in or your ball repair tool, and you lift the top and pull it towards the center. So you bring the sides into the middle. You go around and bring the sides in this way. When you put your tee or your ball repair tool in and you pry up, what you're doing is you're tearing the roots out of the soil, you're bringing the soil to the top, and you're creating a pocket underneath where there's nothing, and that will eventually recess and fall back in. So your ball mark, while it looks fine, it doesn't get repaired. So into the side, tilt it to the middle, draw the sides back to the middle rather than lifting up. You do that, you make friends with the superintendent. Another thing they don't have to fix on the putting green, more resources spent on something else. Number 4, a pet peeve of every single superintendent in the world. People who pull off the cart path around the tees and greens and park on the shoulder and tear the grass up, create muddy strips. There is no need to park on the shoulder. There's no one coming behind you. It's not a highway. There is nobody going to pass you. Leave your wheels on the cart path, and get off your cart and play and come back again. Fight that urge to pull off. It's not necessary, and you can see in this picture on how much damage it creates. Look around your golf courses next to the tees and greens and notice that on every single tee box and every green along the cart path, there's a muddy strip. That's from people pulling off. It's not necessary. That means now that the superintendent has to deal with that. It's always muddy. You have to walk through the mud. You can't chip and putt off it if it's on the collar. So please don't pull off to the side. Nobody's coming. If a maintenance staff or a golf course staff comes, they can pull around you. There's only one of them versus all day long of every cart doing it. You do this, you make friends with your superintendent. Another thing they don't have to repair. We keep now going back to them fixing things on the golf course that are good, such as greens and tees and bunkers, and not having to deal with maintenance that could be avoided. Number 5, give workers the right of way. The workers are out there, they're trying to do their best they can, and every time they get ready to do something, if a golfer comes up on them and they have to stop and pull themselves off the green or shut their mower off for that force them to play through, they could lose 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes. If they do that every day for every single group that comes upon them, they'll never get anything done. Let them do their job and then you play through. Give them the right of way. They're important. Also, if you're a 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning person and you want to fly through the course, don't expect the maintenance staff to stop for you. They have a job to do. Let them do their job and things will get better for everybody. Number 6, avoid this red circled area. It is not a walkway. It is a buffer between the bunker and the green. It is a tiny narrow strip, which means that if it's a traffic area, it's never going to have grass grow on it. It's going to be muddy. It's going to be beaten down. Your ball won't be able to chip off it. You won't be able to putt off it. And the superintendent will constantly be dealing with mud and worn down areas. This is not a walkway. It's not where you pull your cart through. I know some superintendents who put blocks down there or ropes to try and tell people this is not an area, and the golfers move them because they think someone mistakenly put a block in a walking path. It's not a walking path. Please go around the bunker, go around the long way. If you're walking 8 or 9 kilometers anyway. What's an extra couple of 100 feet over the day? So avoid these narrow strips anywhere between a bunker and a green. They're not a walkway. Avoid them and you'll have a better golf course. Number 7, practice good ball removal techniques. What's a good ball removal? Put your fingers in the cup and lift the ball out. That's as good as it gets. Putting your putter in and fishing it out and hooking it upwards like that, it tears the sides of the cup up. All that nice cut, sharp grass area around the cup, that all gets picked away, and then people are complaining that the cups are not even and that they're not cut right. And then the worst one is the people who reach in, grab the pole, and yank it out hard so their ball pops out. It pulls the cup up, it crowns everything, it creates a loose flag. So put your fingers in, lift the ball out. It's not that hard. If you have mobility issues, get a little suction cup on your putter, put it in the back, but don't put the head in and don't yank the flag out. You do that, superintendent doesn't have to tend to it throughout the day. They spend their time working on other things. Number 8, going to skip over this one quick. Replace your divots. If you need to be told that still, you're not getting it. So you hit a divot, replace it. Stop taking 4 and 5 practice swings on the course and creating 4 or 5 divots. It's not a practice range. Treat the course properly, put back your damage. Everything is good. 9. This is another one that almost every superintendent I've ever talked to at a trade show or at a conference or worked with or ran across, this bugs the hell out of them. Stop asking for accessories on the course such as ball washers, club washers, shoe brushes. These things are not necessary and they take an awful lot of time away from the maintenance crew to tend to those and bring them. Now, ball washers. Let's look at the reality of a ball washer. Where are they? They're on tee boxes. What did you do immediately before going to that tee box? You putted. Did you putt with a muddy, caked ball? No, you would have cleaned it off. So there's no need to have a ball washer on the next hole. Ball washers are for people who are scrounging balls in the woods between shots and collect their junk of mismatch of balls and want to clean them all and put them in their bag to save for another time. It's not necessary for a golf course. The best golf courses in the world don't have a lot of these accessories. They have bare bones golf. It's the experience. Every time a golf course superintendent has to tend to one of them, it's expenses, it's time, it's labor, and it's unnecessary. They could be doing something else. And number 10, most times When a golf course superintendent sees someone coming towards them, they're getting ready to get defensive. How come the bunkers are this? Where are the rakes? This. Surprise them. Go up to them, give them a thumbs up. Let them know, hell of a job, guys. Course is in amazing shape. I know what you're battling. Let them know that you appreciate what they're doing. It goes an awful long way. It takes them out of the defensive mode, and most people that approach them are coming to them with something negative. So change that and be someone who brings them something positive, and you'll get more out of your golf course staff. You do all these things, and they all add up throughout the day and the year so that the golf course is in better condition. The maintenance is going into more priority focus, and they deal with things such as greens and tee boxes, bunkers, and fairways. They don't have to spend all this time working on the little things that can be avoided by just a little bit more diligence on the golfer side. Thanks again for watching. I'm Paul Kelly.